At 92 years old, Willie Nelson has finally spoken up about someone who quietly but profoundly impacted him, John Denver. It's a moment that feels both overdue and deeply moving because while the two men shared the same stage of American music history, their bond has often been overlooked. To understand the weight of Willie's words today, we have to go back to where it all began for him. Willie Hugh Nelson was born on April 29, 1933, in the tiny town of Abbott, Texas. His childhood unfolded during the harsh years of the Great Depression after his parents divorced and moved away in search of work. Willie and his sister, Bobby, were raised by their grandparents. Those grandparents not only gave them a home, but also gave Willie the gift that would shape his destiny: a guitar handed to him when he was just 6 years old. By 7, he had written his first song, and by 9, he was performing in local dance halls alongside Bobby, who played the piano. From the very start, music wasn't just something he loved, it was something he lived. As a young man, Willie chased that dream with determination, even as he worked odd jobs to survive. He sold vacuum cleaners, did farm work, DJ'd at small radio stations, and even sold Bible books door to door. All the while, he was writing and singing, trying to find his place in a music industry that wasn't sure what to make of him. His voice was different, nasal, unpolished, and utterly unique, and Nashville wasn't immediately impressed. But his songwriting, that was undeniable. Tunes like Crazy, made famous by Patsy Cline, and Funny How Time Slips Away marked him as one of the finest lyricists of his generation. By the 1970s, Nelson was ready to break free of Nashville's strict formulas. He returned to Texas, where he became one of the leaders of the outlaw country movement. This wasn't just about music, it was about identity. Willie's albums like Shotgun Willie 1973, Red-Headed Stranger 1975, and Stardust 1978 proved that country music didn't have to be slick or commercial to connect with millions. With Red-Headed Stranger, especially, Willie reminded the world that raw storytelling and authenticity could touch hearts across generations. Songs like Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain became timeless classics, but Willie Nelson was never just about music. His image, long braids, bandana, weathered face, and his beloved guitar trigger came to symbolize the very soul of American rebellion and resilience. And his causes became just as important as his songs. In 1985, alongside Neil Young and John Mellencamp, he co-founded Farm Aid, a benefit concert to support struggling American farmers. Decades later, Farm Aid still continues, raising millions and reminding people of the communities that feed the nation. Over the years, Willie became a collaborator like no other. He sang with Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Dolly Parton, Ray Charles, Norah Jones, Snoop Dogg, and even fronted the legendary supergroup The Highwaymen with Waylon Jennings, Cash, and Chris Christopherson. His ability to transcend genres while staying true to himself is what made him a universal figure, loved across audiences who might otherwise have little in common. His personal life, however, was marked by turbulence. Willie married 4 times. His first marriage, to Martha Matthews, was chaotic and often violent. They had 3 children together, but tragedy struck years later when their son Billy took his own life. His second marriage, to singer Shirley Colley, ended when she discovered Willie had fathered a child with another woman. That woman, Connie Koke, became his 3rd wife and the mother of 2 daughters, Paula and Amy. Though Connie stood by him through some of his hardest years, including battles with the IRS, their marriage ended as well. Finally, in 1988, Willie married Annie D'Angelo, a makeup artist he had met on a film set. With Annie, Willie found something different: stability, balance, and a lasting partnership. Together, they raised 2 sons, Lucas and Micah, both of whom became musicians in their own right. Annie helped Willie slow down, cut back on drinking, and adopt a healthier lifestyle. More than 30 years later, they remained together, their home in Maui serving as Willie's sanctuary. Even into his 80s and 90s, Willie has continued to record, release new albums, and tour relentlessly. In 2014, he released Band of Brothers, his first album in years to feature mostly original material, and it shot to #1 on the Billboard country charts. His voice, rough, warm, and instantly recognizable, remains as powerful as ever. His music feels like a conversation with an old friend, honest, unpretentious, and deeply human. And Willie's talents extended beyond music. He built a second career in film and television, appearing in movies like The Electric Horseman with Robert Redford, Stagecoach with Johnny Cash, and even the Dukes of Hazzard remake, where he played Uncle Jesse. He wasn't just a singer who dabbled in acting, he became a genuine screen presence, his charm and humor making him a natural. His cameos in comedies like Zoolander showed that he never lost his ability to laugh at himself. But for all the fame, all the albums, and all the accolades, Willie Nelson's legacy is also about the quieter connections, the friendships, and the shared moments with other artists who, like him, helped define American music. And this is where John Denver enters his story. For years, fans wondered what Willie truly thought about Denver. On the surface, they seemed worlds apart. Denver, with his clean-cut image, boyish smile, and nature-filled anthems like Take Me Home, Country Roads, represented a softer, more wholesome vision of American music. Willie, with his outlaw persona and raw honesty, was the opposite side of the coin. Yet, beneath the surface, there was a bond. Willie now reveals that he held a quiet but deep admiration for Denver. He respected his sincerity, his lyrical honesty, and his devotion to causes larger than himself, especially the environment. John sang from the mountains, Willie reflects. And he meant every word of it. The two didn't tour together often, nor did they collaborate extensively, but they crossed paths frequently at benefit concerts and televised specials in the late 1970s and 1980s. Denver fought for conservation and wildlife, while Nelson championed farmers and rural communities. Backstage at one event, Willie remembers a conversation where Denver confided that he just wanted to write what he felt, no matter what the industry expected. That hit me deep, Willie says. I respected that. When John Denver tragically died in a plane crash in 1997, Willie stayed silent publicly. Privately, however, he mourned. He now admits that Denver's passing felt like the loss of one of America's gentlest voices. To this day, Denver's songs still move him. Sunshine on My Shoulders, Take Me Home, Country Roads. To Willie, they weren't just hits, they were gifts. He also feels that Denver's legacy has been misunderstood. Critics sometimes dismissed him as too sentimental, too soft. But Willie disagrees. In this business, people try to mold you into something you're not. John never let that happen. That takes guts. Quiet guts. As he reflects now, Willie imagines what could have been. Had Denver lived longer, maybe they would have recorded together a duet blending the mountain clarity of Denver's voice with the weathered warmth of Willie's. We were both country boys at heart. Willie says, different roads maybe, but the same horizon. At 92, Willie Nelson's words about John Denver feel like more than just a tribute. They are a reminder of what matters most: sincerity, resilience, and honoring the people who touch our lives. Nelson's career may be filled with hits, awards, and iconic performances, but at the core of it all lies something simpler: the relationships, the respect, and the truths carried in song. And so, as the sun sets slowly on one of the most remarkable careers in American music, Willie Nelson's reflections on John Denver are like a song of their own, tender, raw, and full of truth. A song decades in the making, but one that feels as necessary now as ever.